sunshine breathes the light. Fill me out with a flame. I will let you in this game. Take me out when I'm down. 'Cause with you I'm safe and sound. 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 I'm safe and
Bring that beat back.
take me out when I'm down. 'Cause with you I'm safe and sound. 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 I'm safe and
Bring that beat.
Welcome to Tech Guy TV. Today's stream for first stream of the day is going to be Technical Analysis, and we're going to be talking about the market as a whole. We're going to be talking about, how I was requested to go over gold and other precious metals, so we'll probably dive into that. We're also going to go over the news. And maybe have a chat, go over a few ideas, change it up. We'll see. But let's get into the content. So, here's our Bitcoin chart. This is a 1 minute candle on Heiken Ashi. And as you can see, we have dropped down below $10,000, which that's some pretty big, it's kind of worrisome, But that being said, we are having a massive sell-off right now. The volume, it states, like, goddamn, But that being said, on the overall picture, we're looking pretty good. We're in the middle of a support band, and to be honest, we really shouldn't be too worried about it. As you can see, the support band is right here. So right now, we're from here to here is our support band. We broke through this support band and we bottomed out on that one. But now we're on this support and we should see where it goes. Am I worried about it? Not too much. It is a possibility that it can go lower. But there's also the possibility that it can, how would you say? What's it called? It can basically, like, once it goes to this level, we really shouldn't expect it to do anything else. Or should I say, this was going to be probably the last time that Bitcoin is going to be below 10,000 for the future. So, when a price of an asset finally reaches that point where you're like, oh, this is your last chance to get it here, and then, after that, it's never going back to that. No matter what, it's never going back to that. The markets could crash, but it will not return to that. That is what's happening right now. For the immediate future, I'm expecting it probably, worst case scenario, we're looking at 9,000 to 8,000. That junction point. Could it go lower? Highly doubtful. Like I said, there is this green line here. That green line is our trend, our margin trend line. It's like my safe space, So, all together, that's really it. Like that's the most we're gonna have a problem with, and in the long run, it's not that big of a deal. So keep that in mind. Don't be worried too much. If you have extra cash, laying around, I would buy it now. It'd be a smart move. I would just take little nibbles and grab in here and there and go from there. Talking about that, Ethereum, same thing. Ethereum dipped. We're at this bottom support line right here. We have other support probably around, it's dropping pretty hard, but we've basically said that this is all FOMO, and this was our bottom line, which I expected. This was something that, in the long run, I didn't expect it to be ridiculous, but I also didn't expect it to be like, oh, this is gonna, do some ridiculous things. Now, there are other support levels in here. If we look, there's this support area, and then we have this support area around the $250 range. Are we going to reach the $250 range? I highly doubt it. We're more likely to hit maybe $275, worst case scenario, maybe $300. So, that could be something, and, if once again, if you have extra cash lying around, I would invest. It'd be a smart move. Litecoin, same thing. Litecoin dipped, but we hit this support line, and we're basically staying here. and stating like, oh hey, this is pretty good. I mean, altogether, let me pull up CoinMarketCap. We remember a few days ago. Oof. There we go. A few days ago we were at. Oh, I didn't want to do that. I want to do that. Okay. So a few days ago, our total market cap was what? Like, let's check. Total market cap, right? A few days ago was $390 billion with a B, right? And now we're at 314 billion. But overall volume has been quite steady, which means that the volatility of the area is quite good. Now, if we go on the larger scale, right, we can see that when we were last on these levels, right, you have this support band right here, you know, and this support band basically says, okay, this is where you should expect your bottom line to be, around $300 billion, right? And the overall volume, as you can tell, is wild. It is crazy. We pop out to the year view. You know what? Let's just go year to date, right? Year to date, you can see we haven't had this much volatility for quite a while, right? And if we go to all view, our volatility is just getting there. You know, overall, we're looking at a 50% volatility, which is completely healthy for the cryptocurrency market. In 2017, right, when Bitcoin was at its all-time high, right, we're looking at a market cap of 820, you know, say 20, we'll round it, $820 billion, and yet the volatility and the overall movement of the market was barely even a tenth of that. You know, so when you go back to here, I mean, Bitcoin overall is highly undervalued, and even excluding Bitcoin, right? Excluding Bitcoin overall, we're looking at, you know, if we pull in here, right, 7-day, the entire altcoin market, everything that was not Bitcoin, right, was at $168 billion, and now it's at 130. So we lost $30 billion in altcoins, but yet the volume overall is outstanding right now. The overall volatility and the overall liquidity of the market. I mean, look at that. Look at that. You're getting an overall liquidity of the market that is almost 100%. That is 100% liquidity. And personally, I like liquidity. Liquidity to me says that it's being used. It's being traded. People are actually using this, and it's an asset that actually can be a currency. You know, you're not just sitting there saying, oh, well, it's not the dollar. Well, if you look here, it's doing pretty good. You know, and if overall, say, $134 billion, right, is without Bitcoin, and then 175 billion is with Bitcoin, right? You're looking at what? 140 billion, or sorry, $40 billion just in Bitcoin being used that day. I mean, that's amazing. That is amazing. I mean, shout out to Bitcoin, because fucking Bitcoin got Pornhub is now accepting Bitcoin and Litecoin for its payments. And we look here, the total market capitalization or dominance showing the entire market here. You can tell that Bitcoin right here, it's pretty stable. It's sitting around the 60% mark. But when, you know, back in 2018, it dropped down to 32% and it worked its way back up. And in 2017, it worked its way, you know, once again from a dominance of 85% to now a 35%, and now we're half of that, and we're working our way down on the dominance scale, and everything else is coming back up, and which is completely healthy. That's good. That's a diversified market. That says that all your money is not in a single basket. It says that the money is actually equal and the value of the object is, comparable to everything else. And I mean, in the very beginning here, even when, you have XRP and then you have Ethereum catching on, Ethereum 10% back in 2016, then it caught up and it, 30%, it was almost equal. Well, now Ethereum, right? We can see right here, altcoins and Ethereum are the two biggest contenders right now for Bitcoin. But we also have different coins that are coming in here that are stating, hey, we want some of this market. We want to diversify this market. And if we pull out to the 7-day, right, we can completely see that the dominance moves over a 3-month period. Here we go. 3-month period, we can see, okay, what's happening here? Bitcoin dipped down. Well, what happened in September? If we pull out to here, oh look, it's that simple. So, talking about that, going into the news now, Bitcoin mining will become a strategic investment sector for many nation states. And it's completely true. You can make a whack ton of money if you have the infrastructure and the facilities to actually support a mining operation. So you're saying that a state-run mining facility not only boosts the network integrity by having more miners to complete transactions, but as well as allowing for a diversification and equalization of the money in the entire world. So instead of all the money being centralized in one place and saying that one rich country can only have this, well, now you can say, well, hey, we do mining for our country, and our, Iceland, for example. Iceland has more miners consuming power than the entire human populace of that country. More people or more miners use more power, or all the miners in Iceland use more power than all of the people in Iceland combined. Just think about that. So you're taking a country like Iceland that, overall has, in my opinion, not that well, besides doing the ocean faring things, but for land-based, things, you really don't have much. Yes, there's data centers already there, but now you can have data centers there and you have unlimited power with the geothermal. So now you use the earth itself to then create power, to then turn that power into currency. And if you think about it, and I watched this great video on, what are they called? Oh, what is it called? Ready, Set, Crypto. Ready, Set, Crypto, those guys, fucking fantastic. Check them out. Definitely worth your time. But on there, they talked about energy money. And they basically talked about, and it clarified so much for me, is that basically when you go to work every day, right, you expend your energy for a certain amount of pay over a certain amount of time, right? And the same thing is true with cryptocurrencies, is when you expend a certain amount of energy, right, in mining, so hashing rate, so say you have 10 terahash, right, and that 10 terahash takes you X amount of time to get 1 Bitcoin. Then you are looking at time over energy equals payout, turning already a energy-based economy into a more streamlined economy that then turns not just a physical aspect of energy being expended by a person, but now taking energy as a source from its electrical source and turning it into that and showing a more efficient way to then do business, to have an economy, to do basically everything. So this within itself shows that we could in the future have a diverse economy that says, hey, our country has these miners, they mine this. This is ours, right? And you can have a country with its own cryptocurrency, which is going to come into the future. There is going to be the digital dollar. And the digital dollar needs to be transacted somehow. How are you going to support it? And the question is the government going to have data mining facilities that then transact those for you? Or is it going to be decentralized and allowed for the entire world to do so? And if done so, how is it paid out? Is it done through transaction fees? Is it done through mining rewards, so block rewards like Bitcoin has done? And, you know, Ethereum is a great thing that says, hey, we should have, basically a decentralized network that anybody can use, and it runs phenomenally. You get paid through fees, and that's how it works. And I mean, if you look through the coins that have used Ethereum as their backing, as a smart contract on there, they're successful every time. So, I wouldn't say every time. More than likely, if they're done correctly, you know what I mean, right? So, if we're looking here, right, you can read this yourself. At least I hope you can. Let me check on the stream. How big is this for you guys? Not, it's pretty decent. You know what? Let me see if I can do this. There you go. That's a lot better. So, as you can see here, right? I'll let you guys read it yourself, but cryptocurrencies are getting so attractive that they're catching the attention of nation states. They're now turning their hands at them, or trying their hands at them, sorry. For example, the Kazakh government is now a major crypto miner, something that comes as a shock to many, considering that most other governments have decided to keep a lukewarm stance on crypto. So, normally, most governments are like, hey, I don't really know what this is. We're going to take a wait and see approach, and we're going to keep it at arm's distance. We're not going to dive into it, but we're also not going to be like, oh my god, this is fantastic. And then there's other governments which are just going into it. They're like, this is great. We should do this. This is a wonderful idea, and we should get back. We should invest our time and money into this. And that within itself says, hey, this is a great idea. And right there, cheap power. Notably, one major reason that makes Kazakhstan excel in Bitcoin mining is its easy access to very cheap electricity from its coal reserves. In fact, some miners from China are already relocating their mining operations to Kazakhstan to take advantage of the cheap power. Kazakhstan entry into Bitcoin mining as a government-backed project puts focus on the wider global impact such as a move could make. If more governments take up crypto mining, it would only be a matter of time until cryptos, especially Bitcoin, achieve mass adoption. So, keep that in mind. In other news, Bitcoin Pope hit with cease and desist order by the Texas authorities. The Texas Securities Commissioner issued a cease and desist order for the crypto fraud scheme that promises large returns. As you can see here, that's what's up. So, a little quick tidbit there. But Bitcoin collapse retests key weekly levels never lost during last bull run. So, if you look here, this is a more in-depth analysis. I think you guys can you see that? Yeah, I'm pretty sure. So, as you can see here, Bitcoin's price that was this week shocked the crypto world with an over $2,000 collapse from over $12,000 to just under $10,000 in just 2 days flat. Bollinger Band's weekly mid BB held strong the entire last bull market. And to be honest, it's still holding strong. So, dang. The Bollinger Band are just one of the technical analysis indicators commonly used throughout the crypto and other markets. It helps pilot various levels of potential support and resistance and is among the best tools for measuring volatility. And according to the last Bitcoin bull market, the middle BB, a 20-session simple moving average, supported the crypto's powerful parabolic ascent the entire way up. Is Bitcoin holding strong here after such a collapse? An early sign of a bull run? Now the same key level is holding once again for Bitcoin. Zooming in on BTC to USD weekly charts shows how that middle BB kept Bitcoin in a bear market all throughout 2018. Rising through the middle BB can be a powerful buy or sell signal. And so, as you can tell here, it is being supported. So, the more you know. Going into gold. Pretty sure. I haven't read these yet. Sorry. I literally was just like hopped on. Okay, it's a bunch of bullshit. Okay. So we're going to pop into gold. Because I was asked to talk about that, and I'm going to talk about it now. So, here we go. Gold. Alright? Now, talking about gold, to going to the... Basically, there is a correlation between Bitcoin and gold. And within there, you can tell that right here, right? Bitcoin just went down, it had its bump, right? We go over to gold, we show that right here. Okay, so this is basically like a futures of what Bitcoin's going to do, which is great. And this is something that I have found that coincides with Bitcoin on multiple areas, on multiple times, that says, hey, we should be expecting this, we should be expecting that, and this would be a great idea. And so as you can see here, gold had a massive dip, but then it had a bounce back up, and then it came down a little bit, right? And then it came, and it's going to come back up, and then level out, right? So we should expect a leveling out in this area. So if we come over to Bitcoin, right, we should be expecting a leveling out in the $10,000 range, which would be great for what we should be expecting. And then from there, we should be expecting a movement at some point of it going up. Now, Bitcoin, as much as gold does show a future to it, it also does not always stay the same as gold because it has a higher volatility and a higher earnings potential than gold. So this right here, this bump up, this could easily be to $11,000 to $12,000. And then we could have a leveling out again, and then it sits around 11,000. But there's also the possibility that we break through support and we come and we hit, $13,000 and higher. There is that possibility. So that being said, I would say gold would be a great buy right now. I'm only expecting it to go up, and in all honesty, so is the rest of the market. So in that context, it could also go down. Now, pulling out to the 6 month, we can see here that in March, of course, everything dipped down. We had that massive jump, but we had that recovery as well. Coming out to a 5-year. Actually, let's see if we can do an all. Okay, 1980. Alright, so we can go to 1980 till now. So, as we can see, we're at an all-time high right now for gold, but we're also in the middle of we're about to start an economic crisis of when the dollar collapses. And the dollar is going to collapse. The dollar is about to fucking collapse. It's either our economy or the dollar. And in all honesty, we all know that the politicians would gladly choose our economy over the price value of the dollar. And in doing so, will collapse the world economy because of the fact that the dollar backs everything. Everything is backed by the dollar. Everything. There's not a single thing in this world that you cannot buy with a fucking dollar. And that is the truth, and everybody knows that. And that's the shitty part of it, is that, you know, there was my father actually said this about, was it iRobot, right? When he's in the bar and he buys a beer for $42. A beer. One beer for $42. That's the kind of inflation that we could be expecting in this upcoming years. That's the kind of inflation that we could be expecting for, you know, a while. And I'm not looking forward to it, but depending on how this election goes, depending on how the market goes and how they plan on taxing us, the American people, we could have a really big problem. And, you know, if the American people have a problem, well, that translates to the rest of the world. That translates to saying, oh, hey, here is, you know, your problem, and how do you solve it? Well, you can't, because debt is the new economy. And the problem with that is that when you have a debt-based economy, how the hell do you have anything that's positive? You can't. Everything's in the negative already. So, when you have that problem, when you have those questions, it is, you know, truly one of those things where, how do you solve it? And the only way to solve it is change economies. That's, you know, take your broken system and throw it out, because it is not going to work. It is not going to stay. It is not going to work. And at the end of the day, you are not going to succeed with something that's already broken and nobody wants to fix it. So, going to that mark, that's where cryptocurrencies have such a strong standpoint, is because of the fact that it's no longer a government-based economy. It's no longer an economy owned by a private sector. The US dollar is not even the US's. It's literally a private note by the US Treasury. That is not a federal fucking thing. The US Treasury is not owned by the US government. The US government asks for money from the US Treasury. Think about that. Your dollar is not a US dollar. Your dollar is not worth anything. And if you look at the chart for what the dollar is since we got up the gold standard, it is worth a tenth of what it used to be. And that is absolutely ridiculous. So keep that in mind next time you think, oh, well, you know, maybe my dollar's worth something. No, your dollar's the baseline. And everything goes up in price when everything else is not worth anything anymore. Just look at every country, aka Venezuela or Greece, that ever had hyperinflation in their notes. Germany, look at that. Germany after World War I and World War II, their currency was worth nothing. It's that simple. So, you know, keep that in mind. You know, you want to get precious metals. We can talk about silver in the future. I might save that for the next stream, and we'll dive into each one. But overall, I believe that gold is going to keep going up. In my opinion, it could probably go to $3,000 to $4,000. To be honest, Bitcoin in the next 2-3 years should be expecting probably like $500 to $1 million worth of coin. Now, 2-3 years, probably around $300,000 per coin. In the next 5 to 10 years, probably a few million per coin. Because you got to remember, there's, you know, how many billion people in the world, and there's only 21 million Bitcoins in the world. In 2040 is when the last Bitcoin will be mined. And then all of the mining then transfers over to a transaction-based economy. Which, right now, it is a transaction-based economy, but it also has the block rewards, which support the miners even more. And that right there is where the big questions come in: is Bitcoin the new gold, and how much is it going to transact for anything? And how long will it transact? How long is it going to take? Because right now, Bitcoin, if you do a transaction, can take anywhere from 30 minutes, depending on the size of the transaction and where, how and where you're sending it. Your transaction can take anywhere from 30 minutes to, say, 4 hours. Now, that being said, 4 hours for a say we're moving a few $1 billion, right? Say you're a country and you use Bitcoin to transact a military deal of, say, $2 billion, right? Instead of it taking a few days for using the Stripe network or using the whatever, the current network is to transact that amount of money, right? You are now having that ability to do it same day, within a few hours of themselves. And that within itself will speed up the economy. And that's why in here you see such volatility, because of the fact that it's real time. It's a 24/7 economy. It's not an economy that's the stock market, which is based on a 9-to-5 ratio, where at 9 o'clock in the morning, the economy's starting now. And at 5 o'clock at night, economy stopped. Nothing can happen. How does that work? That doesn't work. It's not how humans transact business. That's not how the world works. There's always different time zones, which means that in different parts of the world, the economy is still going. So you're telling me that in Hong Kong right now, right, to then New York, 2 different time zones, you're telling me that the economy is going there, but the economy here is not going? That's stupid. That is archaic, and it won't work. Everything now is instant. And here you can see that it is instant. And that is the biggest argument point for cryptocurrencies themselves, is that everything is an instant transaction. And you're going to see a balance of wealth in the future into each country, that undeveloped countries will now become developed because of their natural resources and their ability to create energy. And now energy will become the new money. So if you have more energy than another country, then you have the ability to make more. That's my speech about that. So, stocks. We're gonna look at RWT. RWT is Redwood Trust. I like them. I've made a decent amount of money with them, and I've used them in the past. Now their movement is never too crazy. I mean, yeah, like 5 to 7% every few days. So on a weekly basis, you could do 5%, where on a daily basis for Bitcoin, you could do that in a few hours. So that's one thing. But for a long-term standing object of something that you could probably, if you're looking for a slower time period, I would look into that. Overall, they were not safe during the March collapse, but they did recover to a safe amount. They did 50% of what they originally did. This is what I was expecting them to do in the future. They went up to the line I expected, and then they balanced back out, so that's always good. And so now you basically should be expecting probably some good solid, little volatility. It does pay dividends, but when you go back to the past here, right, their volatility was not that bad. It's pretty healthy volatility. It goes down, it goes up, it levels out, but there's pretty much a middle line here, right about here, that it always bounces back to. So keep that in mind. And movement in a market is always healthy. A market that does not move is a market that is not worth paying for. So keep that in mind as well. That's all I really got for today. Other than that, I'm definitely going to be working on a few different things. If you would like to join the Discord and hang out with me, I will toss an invite These invites are only good for today. So if you're watching this stream in the future, this invite will not work. As always, I am not a financial advisor. I'm a person that is interested about this and would like to share his information that he has gathered with the rest of the world. If you would like to check out my crypto hopper, go for it. Let me pull this up. Okay. So crypto hopper, I use them for crypto trading. They work on a lot of major, what do you call it? They work on most markets, right? And basically, you should expect, how would I put it? Basically, the way I see it is that, actually, I have these saved. There you go, Crypto Hopper. So Crypto Hopper I use for my daily trading. They work on most exchanges. They're actually really good. It's an automated bot system, but you can also trade by hand. I prefer it. It makes life a lot easier than it needs to be. If you'd like to trade stocks, you can check out my Robinhood. And there you go. The Crypto Hopper link and the Robinhood link will always work. Definitely check them out. You get a free stock when you join using my link. And with Crypto Hopper, I think you get a discount. Don't quote me on that. I'm not sure. I forget. They you know, the nice thing is that their dev team and their marketing team and the people who make Crypto Hopper are extremely active with their community, and at the same time they do it for the community. They don't do it just like, yes, they make money from it, but they don't do it strictly for the money. Like, yes, they do because they want jobs, but at the same time, the way that they work, you know, I've given them a lot of suggestions in the past, and they've actually listened. So if you have a problem that's not something that someone else has brought up in the past, and it's not the same reiteration, and it's actually something unique, bring it up to them, and they will listen. They definitely will listen. And that right there within itself states volumes about a dev team. You know, I normally do not suggest things. I don't say, hey, this is a great idea and this is what you should do, right? But when it comes to software, like, I play a lot of it. I'm the tech guy. I should mess with things. I should do the find out the development side, talk to the devs, find out the things, so that when I talk about something, A, I'm knowledgeable, B, you know, I can sit there and say, hey, this is the problems that I found, but this is also the things that I like about it. And the pros outweigh the cons because of this. And if I have a con that is something that they're not already working on, you can bring it up to them. And if you can do that, I mean, that is mind-boggling within itself. So keep that in mind. You know, I use TradingView for my normal charts, and I use CoinMarketCap to check other things. Sometimes I use CryptoCompare. They have DeFi on here now. DeFi is something that I want to dig into, but I don't have the money to right now, which I'm trying to build up to do. And they also have these new learning areas for going into that. So I definitely, if it's on CoinMarketCap, if you're looking to invest in cryptocurrencies, if it's on CoinMarketCap, it's probably, you know, they've spent the time to do it. And at the same time, CoinMarketCap has a very methodical way of doing their work, and if they happen to do that, then, you know, they're worth looking into. Once again, do your own research. I am not a financial advisor, but I am a guy who has a lot of knowledge in a lot of things, and I'm trying to share it with you. If that's illegal, then fuck, we live in a fascist state at that point. So that's all I gotta say about that. Coffee. So, with all that being said, I hope you guys have enjoyed today's stream. We're gonna be wrapping it up. And as always, thank you for stopping by. Make sure to follow, make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you at 8 p.m. Eastern Time for some gaming. Alright, see you later, guys. I totally fucked up that stream. Or the transition, but it's okay. It's okay. You guys still here. By the way, here's the music that we've been listening to. Check it out sometime if you're doing a stream yourself. Or if you just want to listen to some cool beats. As always, thank you for stopping by once again, and have a great day.